let's get this show on the road. Apologies, my energy will be a bit low today. I did not take very good. My goodness. Let's. Energy's probably gonna be a bit low. I've had a bit of a headache all day, but I wanted to say hi and chat about some stuff, and maybe we might try and do some Worlds Dex breakdown. What was I thinking though? I was literally in the middle of another thought, and then saw that my timer hit the soon. Let's head over to. Actually, let me see if Worlds fell off the thing. It did. I need to figure out why the heck that's happening. But I think it should not be too difficult to do. I think we can find it. Oh. Interesting. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I saw someone post this just earlier today. Here we are. Alright. Hope everyone's having a nice day. Alright, while Aesop's loads, we can start looking at... So, I think, like, we talked about this last week, obviously. I mean, this was very clearly Shaper's Worlds, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, maybe Always Be Running. This would be a better place to start with this. Because we can also see what stuff is claimed before I start doing some... data mining. But hey, Minstrel, I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you come by, though maybe you were here last week, but my memory's definitely a bit spotty. So yeah, I don't know, it's what was it? So it's interesting to see like this Worlds was like, you know, Lat and Hosh not that far apart, Kit not too far behind, and then a bit of Sable, and then like Essa, but then you get to the top cut and like, oh, all of a sudden it's Lat and Ari, and then like other stuff disappears. So like that is a big like, hey, this is what you probably should have been on kind of thing. The corpse side seems like it changes less, though. Jinteki is definitely a bit of a winner here. NBN's a bit of a winner, and like Weyland obviously disappears, which is something else. Yeah, 31%, 37%. So both Asa and Jinteki grew. I know this is all stuff that Kikai also mentioned, but like I think it's kind of interesting. And yeah, I think it's, I don't know, I think this is this medicine are really, like, I was like, oh, this medicine in a really odd spot before Worlds, and I think it's in a, like, I think it's an interesting spot post Worlds. Like, obviously this lat deck is very, very good, but I think there's stuff that preys on the lat list, which I think is a nice thing to have. I watch it more, glad to catch you live. We'll probably work on more videos in the background. Who would have thought editing gameplay takes time? Yeah. I really do kind of want to get back into more edited content and less just live content. But it's also like, this is so much easier to just be like, hey, let's go hang out on a stream. People can chat. We can do all that stuff and do that for like 2 hours, compared to like editing a 40-minute video is like multiple, like it's a lot of time of thinking and making sure I have a concise and accurate like script. Though I don't script, I guess just like outline in my head, and then recording and then like editing always takes like more than 2 hours, which is quite something. CTZ never claiming his spots. Need Dawn Leak stats. Like, you got a Dawn Leak. We have a Dawn Leak. I don't know what you're talking about. Does this have the Dawn Leak in it? Oh yeah, I should actually, you know what? We're not gonna watch this. But if you haven't, if you want to see someone who is extremely thoughtful and knowledgeable about the game, you should watch Sokka's replays. Or analysis of his decks and rounds. I think it is just, like, let me just put this in, but Worlds recaps. I think they're just like, this was, I didn't get to watch all of it. I should watch a little bit of it later, but it is just pretty phenomenally insightful. And you know, I think you're allowed to disagree with some of Sokka's takes in deck building, but I also think it's pretty indisputable that he is, I think I would still, after this year's Worlds performance, say he's still probably the best player playing Netrunner right now. And so definitely worth paying some attention to. Yeah, shocking that a two-time final Worlds winner and third place this year winner would maybe rank as the strongest Netrunner player actively playing. Okay. I want to think about some. There's some stuff I've been trying to ruminate on, and now it's disappeared out of my head. Oh, we're gonna do a total tangent. So apologies for a second. Okay. So this is ugly as all heck, and it's not going to be any prettier. But the something that came up in Discord, I think last-ish week, was a discussion about between London and myself and a lot of people in GLC, should we be using ELO for doing pairings and rankings, or is Swiss doing fine? And I think, you know, London's proposal was this interesting idea of a tournament system, which was basically like you start playing and then you get paired against people as your next round finishes. So instead of having like a 40-minute, like, you know, 40 minutes, end the round, repair everyone, next round it'd be like, some people finish in 30 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and those people will get paired against each other, and then you'll have this like rolling constant thing, and you'll use ELO to kind of track how people converge. AHI. And we got into some debate. So we were using the term ELO as generic. Glico is what I actually went and tested when I did this implementation, because I could find a very quick and easy Glico Python library. AHI. Yeah, I imagine you are hella jet lagged. And then actually when I talked with London, or London reached out to me today a little bit, having done some more math, I was like, actually, most ELO and Glico calculators don't quite converge quickly enough. But there's other methods, and let me just go and look up the name of it because I keep forgetting the name of this stuff, which is doing some maximum likelihood estimation, which is just like some stats stuff that I don't really understand. Does start to converge, but it does do so a little bit slower than Swiss, but then can outperform Swiss at higher numbers of rounds. So basically, I made a bunch of code that runs a Swiss tournament, which is a little bit unfair, right? And then tries to rank players, and then looks at how different the rankings are. So let me make one difference in let's see, total players. We want, shoot, this is a small tweak just to get our numbers in a similar place, so apologies. Okay, so we're gonna, apologies for, we'll go through this. Okay, so what I'm doing is, I am just saving a thing. I'm just saying, hey, let's run this code. Let's make 1,000 tournaments, and let's give Netrunner players a Pareto distribution. And we can play with different distributions. The Pareto distribution, let's go look that up quick because I learned this week, so we're going to learn this all together. Pareto distribution. So the idea behind the Pareto distribution is that you have a small number of players who are really high skilled, and then there's a long tail on the skill. So we can make this sharper or shallower depending on the value that we use. And this I chose because there's some literature out there that suggests that like a bell curve distribution of skill is not correct. You know, in companies and stuff, you tend to have people that perform at sort of a curved distribution. And that's maybe a little too aggressive for Netrunner, but as we'll find out, it doesn't make a huge difference what distribution you choose. All right, so then I just generate a value for every player, and then I name my players based on the value that's generated from lowest to highest, and then I run 14 rounds of Swiss, and for each of these rounds of Swiss, we shuffle the players, sort them by score, and then create a match. And so this is I don't know if the mic is based. Oh, you know what? It totally is. Thank you, Lanza. Apologies about that. I had accidentally bumped a setting, so it was just like boosting the bass a ton. So hopefully that works. Thank you for catching that. Basically, I do the like cheapest, laziest version of Swiss where I don't worry about rematches. I just take whoever the top, take the top ranked players, just go boom, 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 boom. And then just sim a match where I just basically take, oh goodness, what is my sim match code? It's freaking weird. I have two different options. One, I can just do a deterministic whose skill is higher. And then if that's not the case, I take the skill difference between the two players and then weight it 1/1 plus e to the skill difference. Hey, Rohit. I've been really appreciating your blog. Maybe we'll talk about that a bit because I think it's an interesting outcome and interesting thing to look at. And so the idea is that the skill difference between these two players is very large. Ooh. Oh, this is a problem. This code doesn't work. Wait, hold on. No, okay, this code does work. Okay, so if skill difference is a positive value, this is gonna start approaching a half. This is going to start approaching 0, and if skill value is negative, this is going to approach 1. And so then if the random is higher than the weight, oh, I have this backwards, don't I? Wait, hold on, have I really fucked this up? If this is high, this number should approach 0, so weight will be small, so random will be higher. Hey, Game of Droids. Yeah, this is going to be a bit more of a stats stream. Oh my goodness, I am also being absolutely terrible not being here. Yep, thank you. This is me being out of practice. Oh, I'm sorry, Rohit. I got you confused with Rapa Nui. Apologies, Rohit. Just slipped in my mind. Yeah, okay. Anyway. Okay, sorry. So yeah, code. We make tournaments, we pair around, and then I make a copy for reasons that I don't think I actually... Oh, I have a copy for other stuff that I don't really need anymore. Okay. Anyway. Basically, I just run a bunch of tournaments, and then I calculate the top 16, and then I get this square difference term. And I then calculate the ELO rating. If I use the same tournament results, calculate ELOs for everyone, and then get the difference in these results. So if this difference is negative, that means that the ELO had a larger difference between the true result. Oh yeah, I should talk about this function. So this get square difference is we take the player's name and then subtract the position they are in the list. Because that's basically how we've ranked it. The strongest player is player 0. The next strongest player is player 1. So we can actually just do that subtraction. Where's my sum here? Yeah. So then we divide that by the number of total players, sum that, square it, and get the square root, and we'll have our ranking of the top 16. And we can do that for both ELO and Swiss. And so if we do that, this is for 1,000 simulated tournaments. Let's see if I turn deterministic off. I did. Okay. This will take like maybe 60-ish seconds to run. I've written very ugly code here, but it gets the job done. After this, I want to do, so the Cobra outputs deckless in a way I don't love, but I still want to figure out if I can do it again. So here it's like, hey, the difference here, oh, right. This difference is basically going to be 200 times this divided by 200. Basically this is saying that, you know, for this setup of how you calculate ELO, Swiss does a somewhat better job on average than Swiss does a better job on average than ELO by whatever this residual is. And when chatting with London, let me see if I can. So London did some very nice work, which I want to share here. So give me a second to get that going. Okay, so what London did was take... So, and let me look up the color key for this. So in red here... Wait. Okay. So yeah, so the blue is the root mean squared fractional rank error over the number of rounds. And so this is saying if we take the way that, and this is actually the value I was just computing, which is saying the difference between these two. Let's actually see if this difference is about right. I was saying it was 0.18. That actually about matches. So the idea here is that you're taking the how far off on is each player divided by the total number of players and like coming up with an average for that. And so it's saying, oh, after 14 rounds with, I think in London's case, this is a simulation with 100 players, somewhere around like 12 to 14 rounds, you start to get these good results. And you get some difference between how a traditional ELO algorithm, which is kind of what I was using Glico. It does some optimizations, but it's not like hugely different for the purposes of this. Like there's this performance gap. But then London was like, oh, if I use this slightly different ELO algorithm that is using some more modern matrix mathematics, you know, that's where you get this purple line, and it is slightly worse. But then at around 13 rounds for 100 players, it converges, and at about 20 rounds, it starts to outperform. And so I think this is actually a great example of why, like, in a tournament setting where you have a small subset of games, you end up wanting to look at something like Swiss, because it's going to be accurate in a smaller sample set more quickly, in addition to having being much organizationally easier to do. But over a long term, if you want to assess player skill, the ELO is going to get you to, or, you know, while this isn't ELO as classically calculated, it is a strength metric that you can calculate over time. And as you get more and more data results, you get better and better fitting on players' true skill. Hey, evening, Andre. How are you doing? I also, Andre, we're gonna do some weird stat stuff today. So it's going to be a bit of a quiet night, I think. Maybe I should play some Netrunner just to like mix things up every now and again. But I'm probably going to take it a little bit easy because it's a bit of been a long day for me. And also I am after Worlds, I'll have to go and see if I can find a picture of this. But like I played some games of like
Netrunner with the snare bears, and I was like, conclusions. I know nothing about the strength of decks. Other conclusions. I'm really bad at Netrunner right now. Heck yeah, you mean Deadlock? Yeah, that's definitely what we should do. Is I should queue up a Deadlock game and just get absolutely blasted. Just run next year's Worlds as a round robin so we get more match data. Yeah. Just a 200 person round robin. That's easy peasy. Also, people should be actually. You know what? Hold on. Before we go back to some coding and stuff, let's go and look. Null Signal Games had some news out today. There's like a couple different pieces. I didn't catch all of Andre's stream. I don't know if Andre caught this. We've got November accelerated meta tests in America and APAC, and then for December we're going to be taking a break. So we're opening the gates up for an off meta month. So it's going to be a series of online events that shake up things in one way or more. And so we would love your applications. If you have a off meta event that you want to try and run, we're going to try and give you the support to help. And we're excited to see what people bring to this. So yeah, people should check this out if they have ideas. You know, Chimera, Ram, Eternal. You know, Eternal counts as off meta for the purposes of this. So if someone say wanted to run an Eternal event, yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to see what it does. Yeah, I don't know how you can do an online cube, but it'd be neat. And then the other thing, obviously, this did get talked about. District and Megacity Championships are open. I'm going to just quote, Cror and I had some discussion about some stuff, and I think it was not super clear in this article. We'll see maybe if this should go in this article, but basically, we had a lot of questions. Should we apply for X? So the metric I would say for encouraging to apply is if you have a local player base, you should apply for a district championship. If you have a large player base, you should consider applying for a megacity championship. What is large? Large is somewhat geographically and like relative, right? A large player base in, you know, the northwest of the United States is different from large in, say, New Zealand or, you know, Singapore or, you know, all these things. So I would definitely consider you know, I would encourage basically everyone who has run circuit openers to think about applying for a district championship, because that means you have a meta where people showed up. You know, does that mean everyone who has ever run a CO is going to get a district championship? Probably not, but I would love to see more applications for this. Our plan is not just to, from on high, like send out things. We will be probably, if we see a bunch of people in nearby areas, we'll say, hey y'all, we want to allocate this many district championships and this many whatevers, and we can do stuff. If Pittsburgh and Philly both apply megacities, will you give it to us? Probably not for megacities. Megacities are meant to be much closer to nationals, so that's going to be a bit of a harder sell. If they both apply for districts, I can't promise anything. I think we would want to see that they serve slightly different player bases. The goal is that we want, like, they don't have to be orthogonal player bases, but we want to make sure that every district is giving, like, access to a different set of player bases. Jai asking, any ideas what you consider 2024's World's GOAT Swiss entries? I mean, my default is, when I think the decks are pretty solid, is to just take 1 and 2, right? I think Arzan's Deep Dive Arasana is very, very good. I think his R+ I'm less sold on, but it would be a fine contention. And, you know, D's PE, again, I'm a little bit less sold on it. The lat is also very clearly good. But, you know, I think like, you know, the Asa Sicko in me would want to put one of these two decks in. So like that would be my preference, probably over. I'm not sure which of the Reality Plus or Personal Evolution we would replace. So I don't know. But to me, like the Ari and the Lat, I would probably still take, just because of how it finished, I would probably take D's Lat over Sokka's Lat, but that's not, like, I don't know which of those two decks I really think is stronger. So. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you can put in applications for Mega Cities for both Pittsburgh and Philly. They will not both get it. That I can promise. That would be, I think, too close for us for Mega City Championships. But yeah, people should apply for that. And then later this week, early next week, if you went to Worlds, you'll receive an email blast from me getting for a Worlds feedback survey, so keep an eye out for that. We'll also do an article on the site for that. And that will be it for like Worlds news until we announce next year's venue, I think. Actually, I think I'm supposed to write an article. There's going to be some, we're going to try and do like so there's this, Oxu did a very nice quick recap of the event, but I think we want to write up something a little more sappy is maybe the right word. And also have some fun stats. I would love people to guess how many sheets of paper we use for proxies this year at Worlds. It's a good lesson for us for future years. So I'm not saying it's in Dublin, but I'm not saying that Dublin hasn't memed its way onto the short list either. Okay. So what did I want to do? Man, I spent like an entire evening on the Swiss thing, and I'm just like, oh, the final result is like, it ends up being super dependent on a bunch of different things, which is kind of funky. And like, I'm not super confident in my math on it. So maybe one day I'll find a time to do some math. And honestly, London clearly has put more work on the math than I have. So I don't want to be like, too negative about it. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm glad to have other people in the space starting to talk about Netrunner stuff. I think Plural and I have been talking about what went wrong with Cobra, and I think we have. Sound should be back. Okay. Yep, audio did cut out. Whenever I touch my microphone, Voice Meter Banana freaks the frick out. So yeah, I was just saying, Plural and I talked about Cobra. I think there's a path to a fix for it. You should use whichever one you want to use. I would say, as if you're running a greater than 50-person event, I'd recommend using ASOPs, but I think the actual breakpoint is 60. But what we think happened is, potentially there was some code that was trying to optimize how quickly you would pair players, and it would only look at players within a certain score bracket, and that was smaller than the score bracket needed to balance out players. One thing I've been thinking about, actually, is also for next year, if we have to do a graduated cut, which I think is basically a certainty, We probably have to do it on an even round rather than an odd round, because we ended up with an imbalanced top cut, which is a real bummer. Like, you know, I don't know that Seb K really hated having to go +2 runner side here, but it's obviously not ideal for like overall balance of everything if we have, yeah, overall runners are being played slightly more. Actually, let's go and, what was it called? No. Okay, let's go to TraceX. Because I think this is one of those really interesting things where, like, where's the thing I'm looking for? Oh, this is the identities deep dive. This is the article I think I actually want. Like this, and it's like, it's very interesting to me where I'm like, okay, like a takeaway from Worlds has been like, oh, this is a lat meta, or what, you know, it's like, this is a runners are behind except for lat. And I actually think like Sable and Ari both buck that trend. It's also very clear that like these win rate, like just these win rates are maybe not the most representative, so we probably need to, day 2 win rates I think are not actually the most well, it's difficult to say what's representative and what's not. But when I look at this, I feel like I see more strong runner performances, and like just like a weird anecdotal thing is like, oh yeah, the way you end up with a +4 overall net balance in the day 2 Swiss is by the fact that people that were playing more runner games were slightly ahead of people playing corp games. So to me, this is still, even though the data still says this is a corp meta, it kind of feels like a runner meta to me. Ever so, I mean, and like, you know, I think a lot of good players will say like, it feels like a runner meta, but the data says otherwise. I think that's kind of, it's a tricky thing to balance out on like, how do you take that like anecdotal data versus the very clear like statistical data here. And I'd love to at some point try and break down like win rate, you know, that's what this day 2 win rates is supposed to be looking at. Is, hey, if we just isolate to the 50 best players over a small sample size, 150 games, what does that look like? And like, it's an odd one, right? Like ESSA is performing very bad, but does, you know, convert into the cut very nicely. You know, Ob and Outfit do very well by this metric, but don't actually show up in the cut. Top cut players converting on runner wins support it being a court meta. Sad Stug, I think you have that backwards. Like, players who have played runner +2 means they've played 2 more runner games than corp, and they're the ones that have like 1 games. Maybe there's another way to think about it, Sad Stug, and you'll have to explain it to me. Jai, do you have an explanation for the crew Anarch underrepresentation, underperformance? Yeah, the deck's not consistent, I think is like ultimately what the answer is. It's why I could not convince any of the snare bearers to play it at Worlds. I think the deck, like, I think you can play the deck. I think if you are Jonas, the deck is like potentially the strongest deck in the format. But I don't think that I think the deck just has some consistency problems, and is also the lines of play are pretty difficult. They're very strong when you find them, but like even when I was playing the deck, I was like, oh, I think I was spending my resources incorrectly a lot of the time. I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, you know, Sokka was like, oh, the BTL is really good into Crew Hosh, and then like, you know, Jonas was like, no, it's not. And we played some test games, and like, it seemed good. Like the crew host was doing well in those games. So, you know, I don't know that there's an answer definitively one or the other, but I think, like, honestly, it's like the crew host requires a very specific play style. It requires a good draw, and Lat can do a lot of that same stuff easier. Are we able to filter the day 2 results to see how many people who made cut were the ones who played 2 runner games between round 12 and 14? You know what? I bet we can. We're gonna hop into VS Code and we're gonna do some tournament analysis. Is this Worlds 24 or is this Worlds 23? This has to have been last year's Worlds. So we're gonna try and find some other stuff. Me here, I agree that Sokka says he has play patterns for it, and like said he had tested the matchups. The tricky thing for me is, I think it's very easy for the Hoshiko players to mess up how the lines in that matchup. But also, the game I played where I was playing the BTL, I just made like a series of egregious play errors, which Sokka probably would not make, and probably would have made it closer. My crew tech was to chuck in 2 Hagen and call it a day. I mean, that's not nothing. That's not nothing. Okay, we're just gonna reinvent some code here. Worlds 24 breakdown dot. Did I like make myself any utility functions? I don't think I did. Okay. Import pandas SPD. Import requests. Oh, right. Because the king did knock you out, Jai. It looked like your draw that game was pretty bad, though. So I don't know that I would like take too much out of that. Let's see if this. I'm just checking something on the website. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Actually, we're just gonna skip doing requests. Import JSON. Okay. JSON load open. Let's see if this works. Okay, fantastic. Hagen makes a lot of draws bad. Yeah, Hagen is pretty expensive for what it does. Like, there was this discussion, I think it was on, I forget what stream it was on, of like Hagen versus Eli. And I'm like, Eli has its merits because it's 1 credit cheaper. I don't think I actually said that. That was the implicit thing about my argument. Yeah, increasing that must trash ice is like clearly the goal. Okay, great. So we have all of our matches. Okay. So if I go, if I just do keys, what's that going to get me? Fantastic. So I get to go rounds. So rounds 0. Okay, so we want rounds 11. Okay, so we want to go. Oop. Actually, let's just go. Let's just get the tournament in here. Okay. All right. Tournament rounds. For day 2 round in tournament rounds. How do I want to do this? It's 11 to 14. Oh, right. print. Let's just go day 2 round. Okay. 11, 12, 13, 14. So I think I need to do... Oh, right. No, we had 11 rounds, so it should be... Oh, I need to go out to 15, I think. Okay. Oh, nope, that's not right. Okay, let's go tournament rounds length 22 rounds. Okay, 14 plus 8 is 22. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should know how to Python index. Holy crap. Okay, hold on. I should know how to do this too, but I in range 0 to 14. Yeah. So then if I go 11 to 14. Wait, there was only 3 rounds. That's why this is happening. It was 12, 13, and 14. What am I doing with my life? Okay. Okay, Jeff. Okay, this is how math works. There's 3 rounds on day 2. Okay. And then we go 4 game in day 2 round. We'll just go runner. Let's go hard-coded for loops. Yeah, I could be smarter about this, but let's be fast, not smart. We'll just go corp wins equals 0, runner wins equals 0, ties equals 0. If game corp score equal sure, we can even just let ChatGPT run along here, and then we can okay. So this is saying that Corp won 1 more game than runners with 6 ties. And then if we look at day 1, so we go from 11, we go to 11, I should say. We get 560 corp wins and 500 runner wins and 22 ties. So to me, if we look at, let's see, 560 over 100, 1061, right? That is our 53% win rate. So when player skill is really, really high, right now, according to this, the game is 50-50. Which, I don't know. I think that's quite something if you can go from a large field where it's a 53% and then smaller field, it becomes a 50-50 game. Yeah, I don't know. That's it is I think a testament to how much skill ceiling there is on the runner side right now, that you can basically make up that 3 to 5 that 3% just right off the top. And some of that might be deck choices, right? The deck choices, let's go back to the deck choices probably matter here, right? If we're looking at where are we? Actually, let's go to always be running. That's probably the best way to look at this, right? This is me just basically doing KitKai's article, but dumber, I think. But right? If the top cut looks like 50% lat, and only 17% of the people showed up. That's like, there's clearly the top players were playing on some optimal later. I wonder if this is a 50-50, but matchups charts are skewed a ton, or 50-50 player skill is the most determining factor. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I think one of the interesting things is, like, the lat decks seem to me unbeatable, but I think both Jai's Asa list and the Logic Bomb's Asa list are both, like, show that they can exploit the lat, I think, in a somewhat consistent fashion. And, like, you know, you don't get, like, the king doesn't get a 6-1 Ag Infusion match spread without playing some lats. I don't actually know how he, I don't remember how he did in the cut on the Ag Infusion. And yeah, like, the lat is, I think one of the best things about the lat was it did have such a smooth matchup spread, where it was probably never below, like, I don't know the Asa lat matchup in detail. I'd have to ask Jai and the Logic Bomb crew. My guess is that lat's no worse than, like, 45% into that, but, like, that would be his worst matchup in the entire meta, I think. So yeah, I don't know, I think that's kind of interesting. Something we could do, because I should have IDs in here. Let me just do some of this. Okay, so if we look at tournament, and we go to players, those Asa lists ironically used to have bad matchups in the Crim. Yeah, that does not surprise me at all. That has historically been an issue for people, for HB decks. Yeah, so, like, I don't saying, oh, so, like, yeah, I didn't remember that judge call. I'm gonna be honest, I think trying to claim, like, the win on time there, or, like, a technical win but the judge call went the wrong way, doesn't, from my understanding of the game, is not super fair, but but I don't know. The time situation is tough right now. That's definitely the case. Anyway. Okay, so what we can do, let's see if I can do this. Okay, great. So we can get the standings, and we can actually now group by corp identity, and then aggregate rank, and get mean and median. And then we will sort values, rank mean. So okay, this is a little wild to me. So on average, the best corp to bring was Thule. How many Thule players were there? Oh, we should, you know what, let's just get the count as well so we can see. I'm kind of curious. Okay, so there was one Thule player, so yeah, they make 56. But yeah, if you brought Asa or Reality Plus or Ag Infusion, your mean placement was basically the same. Your median placement varied a little bit, but median is probably actually a bit of a noisy metric here. And then we've got sports was noticeably worse. Outfit was even worse. Let's try and can we go like query rank count? Let's say greater than 10. Oh, it doesn't like that. How do I do this? We can just reset the index, I think. And that will do it. Oh, no, it doesn't. Never mind. Okay. We're going to learn... hold on. I'm going to do a quick Google. Pandas query multi-level columns. Okay, backticks with that. Okay. Nope, that was not, it was not happy with that. Why are you not happy with that? Oh. So I need to put, no, I shouldn't have to put those in. Weird, okay. Well, it is what it is. We'll just deal with this, right? So, no, it's very frustrating. Okay, sorry. Well, so let's see. PE on average didn't look that good. It looked about as good as OB. HB looked even worse than those options. That's kind of it for like the high count decks. Meteor asking, why is outfit so bad into lat? It's just deep dive, scores multiple hits easily. I mean, so I think outfit has historically just had a very bad shaper matchup because shapers can spend bad publicity the best of... Oh, you know what, Jai? It's not just you. It is actually how this setup works. Because I have things set up in a funky-ass way. I've got my audio set up in a very, like, funky one. Wait, why is this not showing up? Okay, so that's the wrong output label for that. That's so weird. Wait, what? Why is it called that? Okay. Lat didn't have clot this entire event. This is the thing. Okay. We're going to try... Like, lat, none of the lat lists in the top cut, I think, had clot. Which definitely helps. But I think it's also, like, Shaper has generally had breakers that line up well into outfit and has had better, like, scaling into the bad publicity than Criminal and Anarch. I think part of it is also when we think about the standard, like, Criminal and Anarch game plans, they're to some extent about denial of corp resources. And Outfit is a good anti-denial corporation because you have overcurve ice that has a downside long-term cost. And you have stuff like Too Big to Fail. That lets you recover from low credits. And so, like, a Amakua is not as good. A Cleaver Buzzsaw Turbine Rig with Banhar is not as good. But for Shapers, like, they're planning on, like, getting online on turn 5 or 6 and just stopping the corp from ever scoring again. And, like, Outfit doesn't actually have the best tools to deal with that because their game plan actually requires, to some extent, the runner coming into them, and Shapers don't need to do that to get in a dominant position. Which is maybe an issue with the game, but is just kind of the way it works. Columns equals... oh, wait, we can... Okay, we're gonna... Well, I'll fix this another time. Okay, so I did download the world's deck lists. Let's just... Wait, why can I not just drag these in? Okay. So, the big challenge is that these are done bing, 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 bing. So, it is pretty difficult to parse them. So I need to think about people know that's a great explanation. I've been playing Weyland for 10 years, and that's always been why I felt like I had a good matchup. Yeah. Yeah, like Shaper's toolbox abilities and their ability to like scale in a different way. Question, isn't control agenda historically the usual win con for the faction like the Latlas do right now? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Meteor. I find what's the way to phrase this? The criminal and anarch playstyle is often very involved in disrupting the first and second agenda steals. And if they do that, their win rate goes up very highly. For Shapers, the question is usually, can they stop the second or third agenda steal? Oh, why Weyland is a good Anarch matchup. Yeah, okay, that makes a little more sense, people. Yeah, it's funny. I don't think of Weyland as being a toolbox deck until until Ob came out. But I guess search R&D with Atlas counters has been a big thing for a very long time. So that's definitely that is definitely true. Yeah. Okay. Man, I want to figure out a way to break this down. Okay, so we know that it's count on 1, 2, and then we can skip 2 and then get 2. That old Weyland was exclusively combo. Atlas and... Oh yeah, Executive Bootcamp is also another combo piece. And then you had Mumbad City Hall for a while out of Gagarin. Blue Sun beat Noise because it had 5 Jacksons. Jai, this World's Cut felt like Weyland's worst strong and wild. Is that accurate? I mean, yes, but it's also not like ahistoric. Like, Weyland has not historically been a very good faction. If we go back to the history of stuff. Like, Weyland has historically been a pretty brittle faction that doesn't make a lot of top cuts. Type World Championship. So like, let's take a quick look. But my sense is, if we look at factions, top cut, like 1 Weyland in the top cut. We go to 2023. I think there was more Weylands in the cut, right? Yeah, they were a good chunk of the cut. But then I don't think, actually no, there was Ob in 2022, but not much of it, right? I think, was this Beeblum? Yeah, this was Beeblum as the 1 Ob player riding to the top cut. In 21, I don't think there was the Gagarin deck, which made there was 2 different Gagarin decks that made the top cut, I guess. Representing 5 players, so a pretty good showing. And you'll notice like no Jinteki. I think Weyland and Jinteki have had a like top level competitive crisis. I guess in 2020 there was Titan. Oh, something's wrong here. It's telling me there's 55 in the top cut. What? What's going on with this top cut? Okay, let's take a quick look. We've got 1, 2, 3 Titans, it looks like. Well, here, part of the challenge in the Borealis cycle was that your corp had to be able to beat endurance. And actually, I agree with Beeblum that, like, Ob had good lines into endurance. But also, there was fewer people playing Ob in 2022. It just was a less popular ID. There's one year where everyone made top cut. It came up on the Surveyor dive. I mean, that would have to be like 2012, right? But I do wonder if Always Be Running is maybe a little broken in 22. And that's what we're seeing. Okay, 3 Weylands. Actually, that's more than I would have thought in 2019. What deck were people playing? Oh! This was Argus meta. Genuinely one of the coolest decks of all time. Not actually the coolest, but, well, I mean, it's a pretty damn cool deck, but I think there's going to be none in FFG. Like, I might... Yeah, there's, again, 1 Weyland in 2019. I think as we go back in time, like 2017, I think has none. It's be on special offer in 21, and nobody knew the right build in 22. Maybe I'm getting my years wrong, Beeblum. Because, no, 22 was Toronto, right? That was endurance meta. Was Ob legal in 21? I didn't think it was legal in... It's not legal in 21. In 22, you had... Yeah, Argus is the... You take 2 damage or a tag. Yeah, 22, you had to be able to beat endurance. And I think Beeblum, you basically got eliminated by the court player, the runner having exactly rigging up endurance in their opening hand. And if they have any other hand, you like get to score out an Atlas with a counter, and that like wins the game. 2016, there's gonna be, I think, no Weyland in the top 16. Like, Weyland was not a faction in the FFG era that could win a world championship. So, like, it only 1 Weyland showing up, like, is an underperformance, but it's kind of, it's not, I guess, something I would describe as shocking, to some extent. I'd have to go back and double check for the ones that are on Anchor and not on ABR, but I actually don't think Weyland would have made, I don't think Weyland made World, no, a Blue Sun made Worlds, I think, in like 2014. Oh, it was Oaktown. Yeah. Oh man, Oaktown. Jeez, I'm gonna miss Oaktown so much. Yeah, it did win Worlds on the very first go when no one knew how to play Netrunner. I'm not gonna count Worlds 2012. Like, I'm just not gonna count for anything. Titan Train decks were good, but like, they were supposed to be the deck that was like winning in 2020. Like, they were supposed to be like they were the deck that everyone was scared about in 2020. I think they got a little bit of ban hate, but like, they honestly, even in like their peak power, which is right before they rotated, they were just not actually that consistent. There was just too many runners that could actually exploit them. And so while there's some Titan that made a top cut, they were actually mostly kept out. And it was sort of like, Titan was like this, oh, I'm going to high roll in my matchups. And that's not to, like, a Dumbreak is a very good player. Like, Heinzel's a very good player. Ghostmeat's a very good player. But I don't think the decks were particularly strong. Weyland Jinder's the most iconic part of the faction. Yeah, it is like, I was looking, when you look at system update, it's kind of wild how much Weyland loses. Like, it's wild, right? Hostile Takeover, certified banger. Oaktown, certified banger. Atlas, certified banger. Archer has been quite cool. Whoredom, I actually think is it's not a good Whoredom meta right now, though maybe it honestly kind of should be with Unity around. Ice Wall, great. I'm not a big fan of Punitive. Chrysium is on the downswing right now, but actually showed up quite a bit at Worlds. These cards are genuinely, to me, essential in a big way. Yeah, Jason, Ian was a top-tier Titan player, and, he talked about in his write-up, you just score the GFIs off the board. You score the GFIs behind ice on the board and rush. I think, though, if we think about what the best deck was in that year, it was 100% Game Changer Sports. And it's, one of those, wait, what were we all thinking that we didn't spot that? Eminent without Archer is going to be real sad. Yeah, startup, system update is the thing that holds Weyland together right now, I think. And I also think that, outfit is the thing that gives it... make sure this is in. Yeah, and border control and audacity going is going to be a big deal as well. Outfit going is going to be a big deal for all of the non-op lists. Though I think probably Sokka has shown that the built to last decks are good. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite something. We'll be interested to see what Dawn has. I don't feel like trying to parse. Do I want to try and parse? No, I think I should have, if I wanted to do this, I should have parsed deck list before the stream started. So maybe we'll actually play some Netrunner for a change. So XDG, I've heard other reports, which is that he may have actually, so he scored an agenda somewhat close to time, but I don't think either player knows relative to when time should have been called, when that agenda was scored, and if it may have actually been, that winning agenda may have been scored after time was called as well. So, I don't know. And, we had judges specifically assigned to watch timers. And 4 tables that were going to go on extra time. So, my takeaway is a little different from your takeaway, and that's fine. But, yeah. For other rounds, we did make other accommodations for the timer on that table. But, okay. Was this... Yeah, this was me making Boz's deck a little bit worse. Though that deck is quite fun. We should probably... Well, no. Andre played this on stream today, I think. Or maybe that was not the case. Let's see. I think. Let's see. Are there deck lists that people really want to see? See around. Have I tried Jukebox yet? I have. Let me go and that's what I should play. I should actually really try and reach out to the Logic Bomb crew and see if any of them want to come on for this. Oh, you played Modernism all day? Okay. Yeah, Blue Sun was pretty one note and not actually that good much of the time. So let's go search. We want ASA. We want MCA, and that's probably gonna be enough to find it. Yeah. Give me a second. I need to go get some water. I am dying. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of the interesting things is like FFG IDs were like generally a lot wilder than the NSG IDs have been. Like more transformational, but not that good. Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's interesting, Jai. Like I know a lot of what I've seen people doing is like, hey, can we combine Jukebox Asa and Jai's Asa and like fuse them together? Because these have been like super interesting decks and like such a fun evolution. I'm looking at this and I'm like, personally, I want the third ablative barrier. I don't like the pulses. I think there's neat stuff about the pulse, but I'm not super sold on it. I also feel like 14 ice is probably enough. I would cut the greasing for a second tranquility, I think, in a heartbeat. But I think there's a lot of, like, I haven't played the list enough to have opinions on every single slot. Really, I'm just, like, doing vibe checks on these things. I feel like the music must be coming through double there. Maybe only slightly. But, or maybe my voice was yeah. I think so. The pulses for the lat matchup specifically. I mean, I'm sure that's what they say in the write-up. Maybe it's even right. I think there's always a thing... yeah, it's deep dive tech. I think we have other... we can do other stuff with deep dive tech, I think, in theory. Against Mercury, this is probably not a hand we can keep. This is probably a hand we can keep. It's not ideal. Like, I guess, right, there's a theory of why you play Pulse, and then there's probably, like, a practice of why you play Pulse. So, I guess to me, do I think that Mercury is on diversion? I'm going to say no. So we're going to go and do this. We should probably have drawn first. We're going to go and do this. I probably don't want to rest this brand here, though. Just going to give up 2 points, I think, off the top. Like, statistically, I probably should have given up 2 points there. I think Logic Bombs at the cohort was bad. That's not what they were telling me on the day. Doesn't mean they don't think it's bad now, but I'm not sure. Okay, so I could res the Pulse here. Protects my MCA. That's probably good enough. But I think just resing the MCA achieves the same effect. So, you know, if Cody wants to run back, the Pulse starts to have some equity, but Wage Workers seems good here. And now we're going to fully op, we're going to draw. And let's gain our 2, and then we'll just put a Rashida in server 1, and that's nice and cheap to protect. Our drafters are now online. And I think we're in a very good spot now. Archives, yep, don't make a run if you don't have to, I think is good. But yeah, I feel like I'm actually in a position I'm pretty happy with here. Wage Workers may be a little dead, we'll find out. Probably resting this Pulse is okay here. Resing this Pulse makes the runner go to 10, 5, 3, 4. Yeah, they end on 1 credit. I think that's okay. Because I can just go Trank Spin Doctor fully operational. next turn. Oh, actually, I forgot they don't actually lose the money, but this is okay. Yeah, it goes to 2 credits, so I'm off by 1 because I forget what Boomerang does. Oh, that's a wonderful draw. How do I want to sequence this? Probably the Tranquility Home Grid and the Spin Doctor in server 1. We'll res the Spin Doctor. Let's... Didn't draw any ice. So let's fully op. We're going to draw 2 cards. Gain 6. And then just throw the Ablative on HQ here. We can hold up if we need to, but the ideal next turn is probably something like install Cohort, overriding the Spin Doctor. If we hit an ice, we get to just go for that. Okay, what's the line here? I'm going to res this Cohort. Or I'm going to overwrite the Spin Doctor, I should say. Let's not do that. Let's gain 2. Let's new remote. Let's res a Wage Workers. I was going to be cheeky and install a Vitruvius, but I think that's just not correct. I'm actually just going to... that was not a very good Wage Workers res, but... yeah. The Wage Workers definitely is a little awkward here, but not the end of the world. Okay, so our opponent has 3 credits. Oh, okay, they're just popping very nicely, so presumably they have a sure gamble in hand. Yep. Maybe I should have just thrown the Vitruvius on the table. It's difficult for my opponent to value checking these. Let's res the Spin Doctor here. Okay. I think I'm okay trashing the Ikoa here. So we could do some double ice nonsense, but we don't really have the credits for it. I kind of want to go Vitruvius Drafter, Vitruvius, Hagen. Do I want to spend the credit on the MCA, or do I want to be on 8? I think being on 7 credits is valuable here. I don't want to... I mean, I could spin 1 flop here. I want to leave the second one. Because I want to... yeah, this is fine. So Cody's probably going to go and see 3 cards on R&D here. That's my guess. Yeah, I think that's okay. We know that there's 3 points in archives and 4 points on the board. So there's going to be a bounce here probably on server 6, but I'm not as worried about that. Yeah, so I think we actually just do go and get 2 points here. Oh, that's a very interesting draw, and maybe does change the line I want to take a little bit. So I can go advance, advance, seamless launch, and then install the Rashida in server 6. Oh no, I can't. So I can go seamless. I can't go seamless Audacity active. That's a bummer. Oh, cohort advance is how I do that. Yep, yep. Oh, that's silly of me. That's the whole point of the cohort, obviously, is to take that advancement counter. Let's go res, click, credit, active policing Rashida into server 6. But I'm not going to spend the extra click there. I'm just going to get a 2-click turn. Like, I know I can play this a little more combo-y and a little more aggressive, but I don't feel like I super need to right now. And maybe that's wrong. But I'm kind of valuing trying to stabilize a little bit over trying to rush out here. I'm about to lose this MCA, I think. So we're going to now go triple advance, and then seamless, and then score. And we're going to have to pray that R&D holds again. I guess I could have probably sequenced that a little bit better. Oh, HQ, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I think we can ditch the last spin doctor here. Yeah, I probably do res the brand here because we actually have a decently high agenda density. And I think my econ's going to recover. And I have some ice that I can install here too. We're actually not showing any in archives. That's interesting. We'll probably put the ablative there, but yeah, I think the ablative on R&D is fine. It's probably going to be Cup MCA, Divide and Conquer, make it run archives after accessing archives, access 1 card from HQ. Okay. I forgot about Divide and Conquer. So we just shuffle these 2 back. I would have actually liked to have kept them in archives, but it's alright. Yeah, so we got a little lucky there, but I don't even feel like we got egregiously unlucky or anything. Why is it telling me I may... Okay, we're gonna trash... probably the Managarm. Nice. Okay. So we're just gonna... let's just do 3 installs and then fully op. So we're going to go Gatekeeper on Archives, Brand on Server 3. Let's just go Gatekeeper on... I don't need to put the Gatekeeper on HQ. Do I want to click the MCA? We're going to undo that click. Put the Gatekeeper there. Then we're going to go and grab a fully op and go to 10. Next, and then we'll get the MCA prison started next turn, I guess. So we've got 2 spins, an active policing, and a seamless in the bin. We have Audacity in hand. We've got quite a bit of leverage here, I think. Actually, don't think I need this brand right now. So let's just keep churning. Let's click this. Let's go send a message server 5, MCA server 6. Now, arguably, I could Vitruvius for an ice to make that a little bit safer. But I think this is something I'm fairly happy with. If this gets inside jobbed, obviously I'm not excited. If this gets boomeranged, I'm not excited. But I think it's alright. I'm sure there's probably a fast advance line if I just waited out an extra turn with the MCA. But I don't feel like HQ is terribly safe. I don't feel like putting an ice on HQ is really what I want to do. And also, I kind of thought this was going to be the line for the runner. Because it's the better exploit to put the thing you want protected behind the ice that definitely already knowingly ends the run. And this is the silly shell game nonsense you get to do. Okay, so we could go and turn a card face up, which is probably the correct way to do this. Not this turn, but I need to think. So we can just go advance, 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 score. What's our best target here? Probably this drafter, I guess. Maybe it honestly could have been the Gatekeeper on Archives, now that I think about it. Because a Divide and Conquer actually probably can win our opponent the game here. I mean, being on 1 credit is good, but flop into MCA into score. That's an interesting line. Yeah, I guess not. Like, click the MCA, unload the MCA, flop, score is probably slightly better. Because, yeah, I think we just lose here. Because we need to draw another agenda here, and we're not going to. Oh, I guess no. I guess MCA probably gets us there, right? Yeah, I'm definitely misplaying this deck a bit. Yeah. Okay, let me just think about this. Even more than a little bit, honestly. Okay. Okay, so the danger of this line is that my Audacity is turned off, and so if the wage workers go down, I'm not actually threatening to score next turn. Actually, no, I am. Because no, I'm not threatening to score next turn if the MCA goes down. Or the wage workers goes down. But I think that's a risk I am more comfortable taking than drawing the blind card off the top of R&D here. Also, any run on the 2 ablative barriers does get me a Spin Doctor back, which does let me do the Audacity line. So, yeah, I definitely played this one awkwardly. So yeah, I know I can pick up a card to turn on Audacity, but it's actually I need the wage workers click for that to even be relevant. So I don't need to do anything here, but I might as well res the pulse just to like end the game. Oh, I can cohort advance, advance, advance. I keep forgetting I have a cohort on the table. It's been too long since I played cohort Asa. Yeah, so this actually would have been enough because I could have gone cohort, advance, advance, Vitruvius for a seamless, and that also scores. Yeah. All right, turn 12. A little slow. Definitely did a little bit of playing with the food. But hey, Phil. Yeah, I think it's neat that this line has all these, like, a bunch of more scoring lines. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's funny, I actually don't think fully ops are, like, free tempo. If you'll note, like, I spent, like, 1, 2, 3... I spent, like, 3 clicks, 4 clicks to get the fully op values here. So it's like, my fully ops are really, like, I spent 5 or 6 clicks on the fully ops. So, to me, they don't ever... Like, I think they're actually not entirely unreasonably costed. I think, actually, if they were, like, super unreasonably costed, like, we would see Asa be even better than it was. And maybe, you know, Jukebox Asa is the start of, like, breaking it open. But, Sable. So it's difficult because we could be playing against Rotom's Reg Sable or we could be playing against Dive Sable. I think this hand's bad against both of them, which does make it easier. So we're going to take a mulligan here. This hand is much worse. Okay, well, this hand just became better again. We're going to just do our best ETF impression. Flop is as ridiculously costed as Banhar is. I don't really agree. Maybe it is. Maybe they're similar in power level. I could see. I could buy that argument even if I don't think I would agree with it. I think when you play fully op against good Crim players, you see all the downsides of fully op. When you play fully op against people that don't understand how to take apart Asa, I think it seems completely busted. I'm just gonna let the Ikoa go here. Fucking hell. But, you know, so it goes. Yeah, this matchup did just become much more challenging. But resing a brand was also a losing line there, I think. Okay. So let's go Ikoa MIC, cohort server 1. And now we are going to fully op for +5. It cost us 1, 2, like this is a 1, 2, 3, like this is a 4-click gain 5. Which, like, that's great, right? Well, opponent just has a soul read, so that's something. What a weird soul read. Um, Look, I think that play was actually pretty bad for Infistly, but hey, it paid off, so who am I to judge? We might go Manigarm Pulse on R&D here. Let's just try and get some more value here. Yeah, okay. This probably goes on this server. I mean, here, the reason I don't agree with the way you're phrasing it is, like, a lot of times the cards committed are doing nothing. The ice is actually doing nothing in almost all of these cases, right? It is actively making your deck worse because you're having to do this, and the assets you're trying to solve for this problem also don't make it any better. So, I don't know. Yeah, the or is I don't think it's but that's not a big deal. Okay, so I can't use the Audacity here, so we're just going to keep drawing. We're going to keep drawing. Okay, so if I do the Tranquility Drafter, I miss a cohort trigger. Well, I think that's okay. And I guess this would be like, how many times does cohort need to trigger? It's funny, in that last game, cohort triggered, I think, more than Wage Workers did. Which is, to me, a sign of, like, the power of the card. And, like, this is probably the more powerful two cards because it reses for cheaper, but it also gets trashed for cheaper. So you do have to kind of weigh those two. It also costs you influence, so it comes at a bit of a price. Matryoshka is not really what I want to see, probably, here. And we have a long hill to go anyway. A very, very long hill to climb here. No cohort trashes here, I think. Res. We're going to install Tranquility. We're going to draw a card. Not going to do an install. We're going to advance, and we're going to Audacity, and we're going to score. So we're on the board. We have one Ikawa, one Send a Message, one Luminal, and two Vitruviuses left in the deck. And we have to somehow hope that a Pulse and a Manigarm can hold off the Matryoshka. I'm just going to miss two cohort triggers here, which is a bit tough, but... shout out Trick Shots for also helping against Fully Op. Yeah. I mean, like, I think Asa has some of the best psych out potential of just about any corp. In, like, making you think that things are going differently than they are. Do I want anything back from the Spin Doctor? Yeah, I think we can Rashida back this and this. I mean, it's a big-ass tell, but... oh, and I don't even have the credits for both of these. I think actually I might do this and click for a credit. Yeah, Burner is very good against Asa. Asa just has this natural ability to draw only agendas, like, more so than I feel like almost any other corp, because, if you think about it, they're spamming a lot of things out on the table. I'd probably also just lose here. I don't know that I just lose here, but I don't know that I love this run from Infist. Like, spending that much on a single feels weird. But, I don't know. I'm down 2-6, so who am I to say? This drafter really did want to go on R&D, but I was like, oh, panicked. An inside job just ruins my day. Amusingly, an inside job still completely ruins my day. I have not solved that problem by putting a third ice here. All I've done is, like, mess myself up. I think actually installing draft, like, just going for a double drafter server probably would have been better. It wouldn't have done that much, but we'll turn up a Managarm to put an advancement counter there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is probably a die sable or a knife sable, judging by the Tycoon Matryoshka. But this hand just became absolutely silly. Draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards. Gain 4 credits. Install a Gatekeeper on R&D. Install a Powers That Be in Server 3 to gain 2. I now really regret putting the Rashida back in the deck. Because being able to reinstall Rashida off of this Powers would be amazing. I don't give up anything by just letting this HQ access through. There's no falsified and emergency shutdown are not, or emergency shutdown's not a real card. It also is pretty bad on this board state. Yeah, Sad Stug. I thought I had enough good targets. I forgot that this deck has a 1 of Powers That Be, which genuinely would be astounding here. So yeah, we are definitely getting knifed. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a Managarm and a Gatekeeper back on R&D. Actually, no, we're going to put the Pulse, because, again, we're going for knife. So, advance, advance, res, score, Managarm on R&D, Pulse on R&D. We're going to draw, greasing the MCA in server 2, res and click the MCA. Now, people, astute observers might notice a problem with the way my hand is currently sculpted. We're going to ignore that fact. I swear I saw a Jachinho. Okay, there is a Jachinho in Archives. Opponent, I think, is planning to bypass something, which is freaking scary. Okay, mandatory draw. We do not do a cohort trash here. We do a MCA. We click to draw, and we draft her up HQ. And we win next turn, which is kind of cool. Opponent has a very... Well, the opponent doesn't have that difficult of a path to winning. This is a part of their path to winning, too. It's just going and pinholing the MCA. That slows us down by a turn for sure. So we could trash the MCA, install the send the message. I like that line. We don't have that much money. We don't have that much money. But we probably have enough. Okay, 1 click left. Opponent can't beat both of these. This costs them 3 credits. Then I can brand them. Or I can just res the brand. Because if I res the drafter, what do I get back? The greasing. That seems good. Excuse me. I don't actually get the greasing back, though. I go to 0. There'll be 1 fully off left in the deck, which is probably not enough. I don't think the drafter was meant for archives. This drafter was maybe meant for archives. This drafter was not. It's better against these sort of diet decks to have 1 or 2 centrals that are heavily iced, rather than trying to ice all 3 a little bit. They have a lot more tools to deal with bypass. I'm interested to see if opponent jacks out here. Nope, they choose not to. Alright, we'll just put the Tatu Bolo there, I think. And we'll just trash the MCA here. I don't think it's actually that important to our winning game plan, but having credits obviously is. Okay, so I think I can go... what do I have for that I can actually res here? Not enough, I think. Opponent's going to be on 3 credits. I just don't have enough cash. And they did not steal their... Oh, they did trash something. So I could... Okay. So if I go credit, active policing to send a message, they'll have 3 clicks, 3 credits. I will have 5. I just won't have enough to do anything. This is also a drafter. Yeah, that's a bummer. I'm going to draw, credit. Miss Bones comes down. Okay. I don't think I mind that too much. Yeah, I think opponent is just trying to probably turn off the cohort here, but I'm not too worried about losing. Still, shuffling back that Rashida has been so costly. It really has been very, very costly. So I could put the MCA on the table. It's probably my best bet, honestly. We'll put this in server 3 because I want to gain some cash. Res, spend a click. I think with Seamless and Audacity I have it, so we're gonna go click for a credit, active policing, let's send a message into server 2. Done. So they would have 1 click left, 3 credits. I would not have enough to res anything to keep them out, so I can't spend this. And this might actually be how I lose, but is putting this agenda on the table. because I put my 2 6 cost and the runs, though I guess they're the only ones that are actually live against Matryoshka. This is Advanced Seamless Audacity. Yeah. This gets there. It's awkward. I'm piloting this kind of poorly, but it does feel good to be back on ASA. Yeah, this is the, like, potential problem with this line. I think it's probably the brand that I want here. Over the MIC.
The Weyland Consortium, builder of nations.
I don't really need to put an ice there. I guess actually putting a gatekeeper down would have been good, but that's okay. Let's go click server 1, gain a credit. I'm basically like, they kind of have to run through this ablative with the cocoon, which is basically as good. Yep, can't res this drafter here. Basically as good to me. Yeah, the R&D run is actually, I think, the scary run here. There's, what, 1 Vitruvius and 1 Ikoa left in the list? I don't know how I feel about this 1 Sam agenda suite. Oh yeah, that's true. They could just break with the Matryoshka. Okay, so it's a 1 in 13 for them to win here. The reason they may not want to break with the Matryoshka is because it would mean they only get to break 2 total ice. They do get to trash this Manic Arm, which is a bummer. But because we have 4 credits, that's good. Yeah, so far Sam being worse than Ikoa, yes, we've just, I mean, yes, tautologically, that is true. That's not why it's in the deck. GG. Yeah, we'll play probably one more and then we'll wind down the stream. So, 1 second. You break ablative with Tycoon. It also would have been enough, which is kind of nice. 1 second. All right, camera's gonna be off for just a minute because my wife needs to go in and out and doesn't particularly want to be on stream. So she's taking the dog out, and then after that, I will turn the camera back off when she gets back in. So. Yeah, they have to check that asset most of the time. I think if they call it as a spin doctor, which is what they said they call it as, that's the one asset they don't need to check in the list. I think that's kind of the interesting thing about the Jukebox ASA, is it's pretty low on, like, things you don't have to check. The Powers That Be and MCA to me have been the two cards where I'm, like, the most often like, oh, if the runner doesn't touch that this turn, it's more of a downside. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, this list is good. I definitely have some things I would probably tune and tweak, but I'm gonna get a few more reps in before I make big sweeping changes. Oh, and we've got a spectator. Sorry, getting a message from some other people while we just wait. Okay, it's Ashen Face. Oh, we've got two spectators. We've got Ghost and a World's runner-up. Man, it's a popular crowd. This seems good. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go here. Here. This was a bit of an odd install sequence. I'm realizing that this is supposed to go in that server, but that's fine. A little surprised to see an MCA trash. A little surprised to see this raindrops not come crashing into one of these remotes. That is, to me, the obvious direction to go. Okay. Start the turn. Wife has passed, so camera can go on. Let's go new remote and take 2 credits. Alright, so let's see which thing gets pinholed here, because I genuinely have no idea what thing they're going to pinhole. Okay. Trashing that Wage Workers, I don't know how I feel about that, unless Ashen Faced has a very strong Econ bounce back card. Actually, let's go draw here first. Let's draw again. Okay, well, I guess this is just what we're doing now. Drafter hasn't been online because they first click trash the MCA, so Drafter has been online for this whole game. Oh, are they gonna... No, they can't get this Luminal, which is nice. Okay. So we're gonna go triple advance this Luminal, score it, We're just going to cheat at Netrunner here. Yep. I think we can draw again here, even though the agenda's an okay draw. They've shown a reluctance to run HQ. Okay, raindrops, trash. Oof, that's a rough labor rights hit for sure. This is an interesting. This is like a very, very reg list, which has not been super popular lately. Yeah, so Ashen Face, I'm gonna guess is on the newer side of the player base. Okay, do I take a turn off of building? Or do I just keep going? Because, like, Seamless get a Vitruvius counter seems good here. Yeah, I think, like, I'm ahead on tempo, let's cash it in rather than pushing. Diesel over Nuka is weird. I don't know that it's weird. Like, Hosh has a lot of draw, so actually more burst draw rather than more, like, consistent draw, I think it's totally okay. Let's just not lose the Rashida. Okay, Mod trashes the brand, that's fine. We don't really need ice on any of those servers. I think we're just going to go Ablative Pulse on R&D, Rashida in server 1, gain 2, Spin Doctor in server 2. Yeah, your turns 1 and 2 raindrops probably should have been trying to go after my remote servers. And also, like, if I'm playing a price deck, I'm playing Earthrise over Nuka. I think people overestimate how much better Nuka is than Earthrise, especially in the situation where you get to install them for 1 credit versus 0 credit. Like, the Earthrise becomes way, way better in that situation. Okay, that's a pretty solid draw. That's a draw I can't really complain about. Oh, I get to do something kind of cute here, which is try and just push for a win. By cohort hoggeting overwriting server 3. Oop, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Now, opponent should know exactly what that means, but that's okay. Oh, I guess I can just single advance, and I don't even need any tricks. Yeah, this draw is quite silly. This is definitely on the sillier end of Asa draws. Opponents got their breakers out, but $0 redues. So it does not particularly matter here. They are at least checking Archives, keeping me honest there. I kind of want to cohort trash a fully op just for the flex, but it's not particularly needed here. Yeah, I guess all that Seamless ended up doing was like, it was just kind of maw proof. But you know, not the end of the world. Okay, that was a pretty fast game. That was a 7-minute game. I think we can do one more. And we'll see if one of those various spectators wants to go and beat me up. You res 0 ice the whole game. Yep. I mean, that's the thing when you play. So, like, if one of the people that I, like, have a lot of, I don't think that's true, D. I think there was some bullying to another streamer today, but I don't mind y'all just watching. Oh, yep, here we go. Here comes the bullies. Here comes the bullies. Like, they will do a better job of making me res ice. And that's going to make my life much more annoying. Okay. Beep. Boop. Bop. Alright, so Ghost is off to a strong start here. I'm interested to see if they trash the wage workers here. I'm a little surprised at that wage workers trash, but I don't know how much econ they have in their hand. Okay, we know there's a dirty laundry in hand, so we... Oh shit, I'm about to get clowned on. Let's go. Okay, let's draw. Yeah, that's okay. I think we can... doesn't really matter the order here. Res click. Okay, so Rosetta Ken. I missed this. I think not face checking first. Yeah, they probably could have just face checked into this ice. It would not have cost them that much. But it's a click, right? And they had the pinhole, and I think they were like, they want. I would assume that Ghost here valued their ability to draw, and assume that that was a Rashida because they're playing against me, and like clearly I draw Rashidas. Like you saw my last game, I just rip shit. Okay, let's draw and see if we can find an installable. Okay, we're just gonna play this one out slow. I want to just put an end the run just to make the Hermes play a little more honestly. There's an argument that I'm supposed to like fully opt to draw 2 and gain 2 there. I don't love it. Okay, now we actually have cards, so we can do this. We can do this. Then we're going to go draw 2, gain 4, and I feel okay about that. I think there goes the... Wait. No. The MCA, I think, lives. If this... Because the pulse will still rob a click. Okay. So I think I'm going to go click the MCA, trash the MCA for tempo, res Tranquility Home Grid, Vitruvius and Server 2 to gain 2. I think no installs here. And I think I'm going to advance 4 times. And then I'm going to get doofed. And I think we have a good... We're actually going to recover from the doof fine. That MCA is definitely going to go down. Oh no, it lived. Interesting. That's a surprise. Okay. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Thinking. Opponent has 17 credits. We do not have 17 credits. We're probably a turn away from having 17 credits. Do I res this pulse here? I think so. I think it's annoying. I think I want to make the boomerang get spent. Maybe I don't want the boomerang to be spent, actually. Okay. I actually want every card in my hand here. So we're not going to draw the cohort, which is unfortunate. So we're going to go... Oh, I can't active policing last click. Okay. So we're going to go server 2. Grab the fully up. Gain 8. And then... I think it's going to be active policing. Do I active policing nothing? I actually think I'm going to active policing nothing just to give Ghost a 3-click turn. Because I think throwing out, like, I think getting the cohort power here is more important. Let's triple advance this. 7 is not. Actually, no. No, I'm gonna undo that click as well. Oh, active police to overwrite an ice for cohort is a neat idea. The problem is I didn't have an ice I wanted to over. I guess overwriting this pulse would be good. Hold on one sec. My wife is texting me. It's a good doggo photo. She is taking the whole bed as a teeny tiny little dog. Okay. I think this Vitruvius double advance is probably wrong, but the possibility of getting a 6 counter Vitruvius here is too good to turn up. Yes, Rosetta. Let's go. Boo, I don't get that many counters. I don't get that many counters. Boo, boo, boo. So this is Coalescence, click for 4, click for 4, click for 4, and then we can set up revolvers and stuff. Okay. Let's go advance, advance. Okay. No, let's get the full 2 counters here. And we will find a way to fast advance Nikoa here. I guess we don't even need a way to fast advance Nikoa. We don't particularly need a way to fast advance the Ikoa. Alright. Okay. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So Buzzsaw, no turbine, but I could see there being a turbine in this list. But Pulse is now blank, so I don't need to worry about it. Okay, we will grab this fully up. We will gain 6. Do I advance this card one time? I don't have a way of winning, right? Yeah, one advancement doesn't win me the game here, so we're going to last click take a credit. If I top deck a Seamless, I will be a little bit mad at myself. 3 credits is probably enough here. Oh, you're right. I do win with just a Vit if I top deck Seamless, because I get to go Advanced, Seamless, Seamless. Now I don't because I'm a credit short, because Ghost was not obliging enough to give me that final credit. Okay, everything's fine. We're going to draw. Install... click for a credit. It's fine. Nothing's wrong here. Okay. So I get 4 credits. Did I have a Spin Doctor in here? I did not. Okay. I will res the MIC, I think. Okay, so I really want to go Ikoa Managarm, Managarm fully op. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to listen to my inner thrower and do this. Now, there's a lot of lines that lose here. Most lines, in fact, lose here for me. Maybe going for the Luminal Steel was better, but... I will res the Drafter. 2 credits for 3 is okay here. Yeah, we're just gonna let Agendas get ripped here. Okay. Draw. Greasing. Tatu on R&D. Wait, what? Oh, greasing doesn't make money here. That's silly of me. Okay. So I can score this luminal that's not supposed to be in my hand right now. Yeah, that seems... Now that I drew a fully op, that seems pretty solid. Okay, so... Oh, I threw away my greasing. Oh, if I had a greasing this turn, I could go for, like, the... Oh, my goodness. Oh. Oh, that's so tragic. Oh, I sequenced that poorly, but... Okay, so this is 2 counters to run. Gatekeeper protects HQ this turn. There's no credits. How do I draw so many fully ops? I mean, to be fair, I think I've used 3 Vitruvius counters on fully ops this game. And I've drawn 0 Rashidas. Okay, so there is 1 Ikawa, 1 Vitruvius in the deck. Let's not get anything bounced here, please. Okay, that's bad. I needed Ghost to not draw that. That was actually a significant part of my win condition. Okay. We hold this. Okay, because we're gonna draw 2 first here. I'm gonna draw 2 again here. Okay. I probably need to take credits there. No, because the Audacity is a big deal. Okay. We just need to hold and not spend any credits on centrals this turn. Am I off by 1 here? Fuck, I'm off by 1. Oh, I'm a doofus. Right? Because it's advanced audacity is not enough. Right? Wait, why is that feeling wrong? No, advanced audacity puts 4 counters. What am I talking about? Okay, no Vitruvius one time. It is very hard for Ghost to contest server 2 here. Now, HQ is actually completely open. And this Jukebox Asa deck is, it's cracked. Especially when you can draw like this, where you draw all fully ups, the runner misses all your agendas. And so Hermes is blank. Feels pretty good. Yeah, sending it HQ is the bad one here. Okay. So I have to think which line is better for me. I think it is okay for me to stall for, like, to lose a turn here. I basically lose a credit and a click. But now the revolver is spent. That's wild. That is so freaking wild. Wow, okay. And so this run's just safe. Oh wait, Revolver can chuck. Okay. We're gonna chuck the gun so I don't get an install.
Welcome and thank you for volunteering your time to the Symbian Consumer Marketing Focus Group.
Let's add a fully up because that is how we're gonna want to recover if we get the Sam ripped here. So 1 and 6.
Everything. Tell us everything. Everything. Everything.
All right, we had to do it the hard way. We had to score to 9, but yeah, we had to live through a 2 and 5 and a 1 and 6. So feels good. That was a. I'm actually curious how many lucky hits we had to dodge. Yeah, that was a wild game, Cat, wasn't that? Just pretty unbelievable luck there. Yeah, 19 unique cards accessed and 3 points stolen is pretty bonkers. So let's go and check. Okay, so we have 8 agendas in R&D here. Miss. Let's see. We get through. The fact that we've drawn 2 points in 14 cards, that's pretty good to start with. So that's like 3 central accesses, I think, spent with no hits. I go for the greediest line of all time, and I get away with it. So now it's a 1 and 3 to steal, and but it's a last click run, so it's technically safe, but my opponent would know and could probably play around it better. Then a second agenda is drawn. We do some nonsense. Diversion lands. Tatu. We draw another agenda. We ice HQ. Which maybe is... I wonder if the line's actually supposed to be... No, I don't have enough credits. But there's a potential idea here where the line is actually supposed to be... Grab the fully op and advance this twice after I fully op. Because then I'll have enough to go Tatu into MIC with an Ikoa, and Ghost would have to represent a revolver. Well, they could click one, get the cleaver down, and suddenly I'm in trouble. So, I guess that's like the defensible element of this. Things go down. The MIC bounce actually ended up being somewhat beneficial. So a miss on a 1 and 2 here, I think. Yep, a miss on a 1 and 2, so we miss on a 1 and 3, a 1 and 2. And there's, I think, yeah, and then the miss on a 2 and... We had three shots with 1 Ikoa, 1 Sam, and 1 Vitruvius still in the deck. So it's about a 1 and 8. And we missed 3 times, which is pretty darn good for me. Yeah, this is on the high curve of the luck side. Luminal score, miss on R&D. Next card down off the Spin Doctor was the final 5-3, and then we kind of R&D clutches it out. And then this is the turn that's truly egregious. 2 and 5 to lose the Ikoa, and then 1 and 6 to not lose the game. So that's definitely a better lucky than good game, but I think that's a good one to end it on. Ghost was a good opponent, and yeah, you know, not I don't think we played against any lat, right? It was against a Ken, a Hoshiko, a Sable, and a Mercury, and like kind of long-ish games, right? 12, 13, and 17 turns, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I like this deck a lot. We'll have to play Jai's list at some point, because I am a certified ASA streamer till it rotates, probably. I'm going to miss it so much. But thank you everyone for tuning in, and see y'all next week.